from my hand. Why don't people understand my intention?
Good morning, Royals, and welcome to another edition of Weird Science Wednesday. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about the moon. In 1969, astronaut Neil Armstrong made history by taking one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. First astronaut on the moon, and the world watched in awe. The moon has always fascinated people. It's close enough to see, far enough away to be a mystery, constantly there but constantly changing. The moon has a bearing on gravitational and tidal sciences of Earth, and has long played a part in our superstitions and our fairy tales. There's a lot to learn about the moon. It's not made of cheese, and there's no man in the moon, but it does hold its own secrets. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the different shapes of the moon.
Did you notice the full moon last night? Yeah, but can you tell me when the next full moon is?
Yes, Alex, I did. And yes, Gregory, we can. Just as the Earth revolves around the Sun in 365.25 days, or 1 Earth year, the Moon also revolves around the Earth in 29.53 days, also known as 1 lunar month. During this time, 8 different phases of the Moon can be observed. The Moon itself doesn't actually change during these times, and the Moon does not create its own light. The moon is illuminated because it reflects the light from the sun. Illuminated means lit up. The part of the moon facing the sun is lit up. The part facing away from the sun is in darkness. The lunar cycle all begins with the new moon, also known as the no moon. It's when you look up at the sky and you're like, hey, did Gru steal the moon? Nah, the sun's only shining on the back side. As the moon revolves around the Earth, you see a little bit more of it. This is the crescent. This is the waxing crescent, where the moon's getting brighter, also known as the toenail. As the moon turns, now you get to the first quarter moon. The next phase of the lunar cycle is called the waxing gibbous. This is where you look in the sky and you mistakenly believe it's a full moon, but it kind of looks awkward. Well, that's a gibbous, not to be mistaken for Gibby! And at the peak of the lunar cycle is the all-majestic full moon. Now that we've reached the middle of the lunar month with the full moon, we start to descend, and instead of illuminating, the light appears to be going away. This is called waning, and we descend in the opposite direction than we began. After the full moon is the waning gibbous, the last quarter moon, and then the waning crescent, starting the lunar month all over again with the new moon. So Gregory, to answer your original question, can I predict the next full moon? Well, the answer is yes, I can, and so can you. In fact, the instructions to do that are hidden in this episode of Weird Science Wednesdays. So instead of signing off with the traditional words of wisdom, how about we sign off this week with a challenge? In fact, the challenge to the entire student population. If you can tell your homeroom teacher by tomorrow, Thursday, remember we don't have school on Friday, if you can tell your homeroom teacher by tomorrow when the next full crescent and gibbous moons will appear, I'll enter your name into a drawing and you can host the next Weird Science Wednesdays. Can't win if you don't try. Shoot for the moon, Royals. That's science.